What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Combat Deviants with Steve and Eddie over here after yesterday's interview. I don't know if you guys caught it, but we had Trisha Morrison on. Me and Steve will talk about that in just a second, but make sure to go down, press that subscribe button for Belly Up Sports, and also jump over to the Combat Deviants YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe over there because we're going to get interview highlights out that you guys really want to see on top of some new things coming for 2023. I know you guys want to see more shorter news clips, so maybe we'll keep you guys up to date with the top 5 stories of the week on our YouTube channel. So with that being said, go over to Combat Deviants at YouTube. Follow us on social media at Combat Deviants. Now with that out of the way, Steve, Jake Paul, Anderson Silva, Conor McGregor weighing 265 pounds, John Anik getting re-signed. We got guests joining us in just a moment as well. Steve, man, jam-packed week in mixed martial arts. What do you say about that?
Yeah, jam-packed week in mixed martial arts, jam-packed week for us here on Belly Up Sports and Combat Deviants. We talked to Miranda Maverick. We talked to Trisha Morrison. Unfortunately, we got a little late start tonight. Plans kind of changed last minute. Joey Beltran unfortunately double booked his evening. And wifey always comes before for media obligations. So the planned date night had to go on. Don't want to catch a right hook from the current Beltran champion in the household, which would be
I'd say so, man.
Formula.
That's like my worst fear, bro.
What's up?
I'm so bad at remembering birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. I'm just
yeah, absolutely no sweat. He said I'll be on next week. No worries. He's like, I'll be twice as funny.
But not only that, Steve, we have DJ Linderman that's going to be calling in as well.
Hopefully his alarm set. I'm about to send him a message just to double check. So last time for when DJ missed his prior engagement, he was working long hours, construction work, building things and things of that nature. And he just slept through his alarm, and that was the end of that one. But we should be good this week. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. We've already given you guys plenty of content this week, but we decided to come back and bring you a little bit more. Obviously, UFC fight night's going on. Paul Silva's is about to go down. Obviously, we both had a lot to say about that. So, Eddie's flashing up some stuff on that me and him been talking about over the week.
For you.
What's kind of the thing that you want to talk about? We'd already done a couple interviews.
We
talked about a couple things. What's kind of the thing that's getting your attention? You want to talk fight night? You want to talk Paul Silva?
I got a couple.
You want to talk this Conor McGregor stuff? I mean, obviously, he had to bulk up and get a little bit bigger for Hollywood as he's taking on that role in the remake of Roadhouse. So. Should be interesting to see how that plays out.
That was supposed to be originally Ronda's gig, but it looks like Conor's kicked in there, man. I've had a lot of people after posting that video.
Why should it have been Ronda's gig?
Well, originally Ronda was supposed to be in the remake of Roadhouse.
Yeah, but do you remember the original one? So do you understand they're pegging him as
which
not
is kind of
he's not the wrestler, but like the martial arts guy that at the end, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, all right.
Because remember they had what was the wrestler they had in that? I forget. Why am I forgetting the guy's name now?
No, it's a good movie with a wrestler. There's not many of them, but They Live, bro, with Roddy Piper, bro. Have you ever seen that one? Puts on the sunglasses.
Where he's the tag teams, and then like.
No, he's like an alien. He's like, he puts these glasses on and everything comes to him. He sees aliens and how we're all controlled.
I didn't see that.
Really,
of course, you would see the off the wall one, right?
But listen, bro, that's a good pick for Halloween right there. They Live. Go check that one out, guys. I really want to talk about Conor McGregor because he does say he's going to be returning in 2023 in the early portion in the first quarter, nonetheless. And with the video posted yesterday of
All right, so if he's going to come in the first quarter, how is he going to pull that if he has to be in the pool for 6 months before you can fight?
So honestly,
explain this to me. Like, what
145
are now going to get exempt Connor?
I wouldn't be surprised. Here's what my thought is,
in the testing pool for 6 months. He has not been in the testing pool for a while, for I think at least the last 4 to 6. You have to be in the testing pool for 6 months before you be scheduled for a fight.
So here's the thing, though. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back in the testing pool and returns at a heavier weight class. But before we talk about that, Steve, you saw the video that I posted. So Conor McGregor makes a claim in that video that he weighs 265 pounds. You look at what he looked like for the weigh-ins, the death cut at 145. You look at somebody like me, 6 foot 230, and then you look at Conor McGregor there in that video. What would you give a guesstimate if you were at the carnival and you're the guy guessing everyone's weight? And I put this on you. What does Conor weigh right now?
215, 220. I mean, he's a heavyweight. He's at the heavyweight minimum, but he's a heavyweight.
Will he return as a heavyweight though? Could you see him doing something crazy like that?
For his sake, I hope not.
For his sake. I mean, one of our guests that we were supposed to have on even went down to middleweight at one point. We've seen fighters go up and down. Look at Khabib this past weekend, even though he's not training. But it would not shock me, Steve, is what I'm trying to get to. It would not shock me if Conor McGregor did return as a light heavyweight or a heavyweight sometime in the future, because where's the money to be made? That's a real super fight right there, in my honest opinion.
I mean, every fight for Conor is going to be a big fight when he returns.
What would you think his next fight would be?
Huh?
What would you think his next fight would be?
What, weight class or just person?
Just person. Now that Nate's gone, we're not going to see that one.
Why wouldn't it at this point in time? He's sitting there saying he's going to fight early in that time. I don't think Dana would bar him from fighting in Nate Diaz's promotion for their debut fight. He let Conor fight for Mayweather. He told Nate Diaz upon his exit that this is always your house. If he's not in the testing pool yet and he wants to fight and he wants a big fight, who's to sit there and say he doesn't help Diaz kick off his promotion?
I don't see that actually happening. But when
I don't see it actually happening either. But like, if he's sitting there saying he wants to fight in that time frame, that's the only way I could see it, because he's not in the testing pool right now. So I can't even imagine who he's fighting right now, or even begin to speculate what the weight class is, regardless of him sitting there saying that he's at a heavyweight right now. I mean, if he's at heavyweight right now, then I would assume, middleweight would kind of be the ideal target upon his return.
Which is kind of weird, because you have all these new stars at the lower weight classes, right, Steve? We got Figgy Marino, which is obviously way too low for him, going into their fourth fight, which was just announced, going on as well.
All right, tell me this. Tell me this, right?
Yeah.
He goes in an 85 and can't tell me, Israel Adesanya has not been begging for someone exciting. They do not have a similar style. Would that not be a fun fight?
That would be a really fun fight.
Would that not be a fun fight that not only get the fans up, but get fans excited for Izzy again?
Well, what makes
I think that's kind of been Izzy's problem. Like, there's no one in that weight class that really he wants, that is kind of, getting his blood flowing like it used to. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously he's beaten a lot of these guys, and even, his upcoming pay-per-view that's coming up in I think 2 or 3 weeks or something of that nature. But
what makes fans excited to see fights? Because we have this one obviously going down tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Yeah, man, this is me and you've been talking about this since it got made. I mean, obviously this is the one that's supposed to be shutting all the fans up, all the doubters up about the validity of Jake Paul. And we already got questions surrounding around it. We already got questions. There's rumors of Anderson sitting there saying he was being knocked out, and then there was some talk of the response to that was just that there was a translation issue there, or something to that
Silva
nature.
was not knocked out multiple times in one training session. Let me read this really quick.
And I think I think Chris Cyborg was there all week. Chris Cyborg was there a week. Did you not think that if Anderson got put out flat on his back, or was got knocked out, you think she would have not said something or called it out?
I don't think she would. I really don't.
No,
But I also don't
I do
believe
think
it
she would.
happening.
I do think she would.
Show me those Polly Malignaggi videos and maybe I'll believe it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's how things were back then, man. Come on. That's 20 years ago at this point in time.
But check this out. This was thrown out during the presser today. Jake Paul says, Anderson Silva, if I beat you, I will make you the head of the fighters union, but as interim president. As like, what the hell? This is just a joke, honestly. And no one's really excited for it because you sent me a photo of the tickets that are now left available.
Our good PR friend Mrs. E, has been keeping up on this thing because Jake has been this self-proclaimed guy of this champion for women's boxing, and how he's changed this and he's changed that and things of that nature. So Z's been on top of things, and she sent us a little screenshot of what the the available tickets are for the event, and it don't look good. Don't look good.
It does not. Does not look good. Now on Reddit,
in Arizona at this time of year is a good idea. I mean, it's not it's a fight hub, but it's more of a local MMA and big MMA hub. Like I get it, it's Anderson Silva and Jake Paul, but I don't think you're going to get people flocking to that. I mean,
the biggest thing is going to be
and I think you were already sitting there saying that one of the undercards or co-mains on that is Le'Veon Bell and Uriah Hall. And Uriah Hall was sitting there talking about how bad his depression been since his retirement.
Yeah, I saw that.
Talking about looking at his revolver and things like that. Like, listen, man, like people don't understand like some of the stuff. Like, this is why fighters come back to
DJ.
To have fights. It's not just because a macho thing of that nature, or even an ego thing to be in the limelight. It's kind of just a thing to be in a routine and to feel like you matter and be a part of something. People don't like dude, we talk about mental health all the times on all different levels there. Professional athletes aren't immune to it. Men aren't immune to it. Women aren't immune to it. We all have
even animals,
issues,
man.
Things. We just had Jamie Driver on. Do you feel like that she seemed like that she was battling with some mental health issues and battling some mental demons leading up to that fight when we had her on? Didn't seem like it, did it?
No, but it's usually, and I even mentioned this, it's always the people who are smiling the most.
She made a post a few days ago about it. So, I mean, it's not one of those things to kind of take lightly. You know what I mean?
No, and we've seen fighters in the past have a lot of these struggles because CTE has now been a big part of it. We've seen it in football with, I mean, you could say it was or wasn't with Aaron over here in Connecticut, and watching him come up over the years and making it such a big thing. You have all these amazing things going on, and then boom, something like that happens. And the struggle is insane because if you don't have a routine, that's the one thing that I'm always told is the most important. That's why this show is very important for fighters. You take that away from them. What do they really have? Their whole life has been based on that. They've made sacrifices. They do not feel as if they're the same person anymore. There's no identity. A huge part of it is loss of identity. And for Uriah Hall, who's going to be fighting on this card, luckily we're seeing him on this card and not having to.
If anything, like you're worried about Anderson, why don't you just seen that media clip come out about Uriah? Why don't you make Uriah a part of it? To it's something that he knows a little bit about too. Why are you picking Anderson? Because he's the big name. Why don't you have both of them be a part of it? You're this guy champion for this, champion for that. Well, put actions to words where they actually mean it, dude.
Yeah, and you could look at a lot of these guys who have had, these insane rivalries. We were talking about Figgy versus Marino 4 coming on, which is never really happened before. It's happened in other promotions where we've seen fighters go up 4 times against other people, like not Anderson, Andre Arlovsky, Tim Sylvia, Vanderlei, and Rampage. But also, Steve, I really want to bring up this point with Figgy and Marino 4 coming up. Over the years, there's been a lot of excitement with these rivalries. And
there's a lot of rivalries we could talk about over the years, dude.
Mir versus Lesnar, Hughes versus PJ, Chuck and Tito, Shamrock Tito, Sakuraba, Gracie family, Cruz Faber, Jones DC, Ronda Misha. I mean, the list goes on and on. What has been some of your favorites?
Lesnar Kane.
Lesnar, Kane, Velasquez. Well,
and then even you go Kane Velasquez, Junior Dos Santos, man. That was a legendary trilogy. Legendary trilogy, man.
First time on Fox. Yeah. And you know what's even crazier, bro? If you thought the first one was good, you thought the second was good, the third one was good, man, wait till you see the fourth one. But I really can't wait for the fifth one, is what people are out there saying, man. Have you ever really been this intrigued with 2 fighters going 4 fights? Because if you've watched the fight,
maybe the first time in combat sports you ever see one where it's actually like people are looking forward to see it outside of what Pacquiao Margarito.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only one I can think of that had like at least like 3 or more where and no one thought at the end that Margarito was going to finally be able to clip Pacquiao and put him out. But he did.
And you know what Pacquiao said after that? He said, once that happens to a fighter, I was talking to James McSweeney about it. Once that happens to a fighter, you're never really the same, you know? And we kind of saw that with a lot of fighters like Chuck Liddell, you know, going into that third fight with Tito, which is something we really didn't want to see happen at all. So I'm happy the Figgy 4 fight is happening, but did you want to see him fight someone else, or was this the right way to go here?
I mean, he earned it. I mean, it's one of those things like where you're in that division and he's beating all the guys that are supposed to be coming up, and like that, like how can you not sit there and take it away? You have to put it together.
Well, for DJ did not have this. So what's different about DJ's career compared to
a lot of people kind of feel like DJ's kind of been like the forgotten guy, the guy that kind of gets pushed off to the side, kind of didn't get this stuff. But that's also because he had a lot more control of his contract of works and when he fought and how he was promoted and things of that nature. So you also have to think that was kind of played a part into it. Like he was just a little bit more difficult to deal with financially, and just like it's that like where they invest in, like they're investing X amount of dollars into that weight class as a whole, and just they felt they could have build around some of the other younger guys, and they did. And I still think DJ's doing amazing over there and won. He's already he's won the belt, lost.
They're about to come to America.
He's already put together another set of rematches and trilogies together over there.
Now, we've made a couple of trades before in the past with one, but this week a thing came out about Peter Yan. Very disappointed with the UFC, and he wants to be traded to one. Do you think that will ever happen again in the history of this company?
Well, you would really have to think who one has that the UFC would covet to make it make sense.
There was a fighter that came out who said he would be willing to do the trade, and I can't remember the name, and that says a lot right there, doesn't it?
I already said the only person. I'll be a homer as hell, dude. Like I want to see, but it's also because I want to see the UFC open up that 105-pound division for the females, and
like they should have done for the Karate Hottie.
She's one of those girls. You still have some of those 115ers who are just like they really belong at 105,
which is atom weight, right?
Isn't that what? Yeah, I think so.
Atom weight, 105 pounds.
So like, it's one of those things where you'd like to see that, and then there's some women there that you could probably go after both with MMA and grappling that they use for super fight grappling and things of that nature. So I mean, if the UFC wants to send them some money, buy their whole weight class out for that, and pack that fighter in there and do some things like that nature.
Well, are there fighters left out there that we want to see in the UFC? You could make an argument for Bellator and Pitbull.
I mean,
right there.
Bella,
Which Dana claims
why
he's
we
never
couldn't
heard
fight
of.
or something? But I thought isn't the point of us having Bellator, PFL, things like that nature was to level the playing field of the monopoly the UFC has created, quote unquote. You know.
Well, here's the other thing. Would it ever feel like if you were a fighter that you made your best attempt at beating the best in the world if you didn't fight over in the UFC? Because in a lot of people's opinion, nothing means anything unless it's in the UFC, unfortunately.
I don't believe that. I never believe that. It's just people consume MMA the way they want to consume it. Sometimes when you consume combat sports, it's your preference. Some people can consume it because they prefer boxing. Some of it would rather just Muay Thai. Some love MMA. Some are just bare knuckle boxing people. This is why we are combat deviants. So I sit there and I never say that it's UFC or nothing. I think there's other fighters that are well worth the same amount of money some of the UFC guys elsewhere. So
So you're saying
it's
that
up to your perception of it. My perception of what combat sports is different to what it is. But I also say it's consumed differently by everyone because we're all different how our consumption of what combat sports is. Some people it's just something they do. They watch at every couple of months. Some people we watch every ounce of it every day. Scratching and crawling for everything. Absolute deviance with it.
yeah, like Kaposa, man, he watches so many events. Now, I want to get into this upcoming card because not many people are really discussing it, and I'm really excited to see Calvin go in there against Arnold Allen, who's 18-1, has wins over Hooker,
Well,
Len.
here's the thing. Allen's undefeated in the UFC. If he's able to get by Kattar, I think it'd be like 10-0 or in the UFC. I mean, he has. I think his loss was outside of the UFC, so it's great to see a
And
run
by
like this.
decision.
And at that point in time, like you really have to put this kid into contention with some really bigger name fights, bigger fights, etc.
Well, Calvin, recently beat Giga, which was a huge riser in the UFC, and then boom,
You know what I'm
Calvin. So
saying,
will that
man?
happen again?
You can't look past this kid.
If it
And
happens, it will be by decision. That's my call. If Calvin wins, it will be by decision, which we've seen a lot out of
yeah,
Calvin.
I agree, but I think Allen can win it any way possible at this point in time.
Also, we got Tim Means, the Dirty Bird, against our boy Max Griffin, bro. Max Griffin, a real sleeper here who was coming up with a big name and then it's been a little quiet recently. Even though he's had that first round TKO against Song, Max Griffin, his last 9 fights, he's gone 5-4. His last 5 fights, 3-2. He's lost to Neil Magny. Oliveira went to decision there, but he does have some really good wins. And for this one, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to decision.
You stop. You just mentioned Oliveira and Neil Magny, perennial top 10s and the former champion, correct?
Alex Oliveira.
So you just said Oliveira, man.
Cowboy Oliveira, I should have said right there. But
there you go.
That one went
to a decision. That's no joke either, because he's an absolutely well-rounded guy who has an endless gas tank.
He's almost like a Bilal Muhammad in my eyes, where he has what it takes to win the fight, but he just
don't talk to me about Bilal Muhammad.
We'll get to that in a second. Also on this card, old timer Andre Arlovsky.
The venom about that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. But Andre Arlovsky, in his last 7 fights, Steve, he's 6-1, bro. 2022.
Yo, if you would have, we were talking about Glover Teixeira, right? His late resurgence. Like, Andre was cut, went back to PFL, started smashing dudes. I think he went to another. I'm not sure if he went to another promotion or not. Gets back to the UFC and starts absolutely going back through that heavyweight division. It's like, I mean, it's crazy, Listen, if Andre Arlovsky gets another victory via stoppage, I'm gonna give away one of the World Series of Fighting things that I have signed by them.
This would be a good one to bet on.
Maybe the T-shirt I had done that has everyone signed it.
That would be a crazy thing to give away. He's coming in as an underdog as well for this one, Arlovsky, at a plus 210 here. So you throw $100 down, you win $210 there. So I wouldn't mind putting that down on Andre Arlovsky, even though at the old ripe age that he's at, got to be close to 40 at this point. Never thought we would see names like Arlovsky or Glover Teixeira, Shogun Rua still doing this damn thing and on winning streaks, let alone Glover Teixeira in his comeback fight here as the former champ.
Did you think not just after the Jones destruction, and he was just like, how Shogun was just on this, like he would win one or two, and then he would lose one, win one, lose two. I'm like, it was just he was on this weird like up and down, and he was all over the place, and like it's crazy to see these guys be able to turn it around and blast it off like this now. I love it. I love to see the old guys doing it. It's weird. It's weird how we love the old guys sticking around in MMA, but like we look at other sports like, oh, they got to hang it up, they got to get out of there, they don't have it no more, right? Or is it just the old homers in us that we just want to see these guys hang a little longer because these are like kind of the guys that we watched as we were young bucks, just being absolute just fans of the sport. You know what I mean?
Well, at heavyweight, it's a little different too. I feel like the heavyweights get better as they get older. We don't really see a lot of young heavyweights coming up 5 years ago. Only recently have we seen a new, fresh roster at heavyweight inside the UFC. There was a lot of complaints 5 years ago about heavyweight division being so stale. Even Brock Lesnar said it,
And you mentioned him. Would you like to see him make another run, even if it's not a heavyweight run, just to get some electricity back into the upper weight classes? I mean, if you really look at it, he kind of is the guy that gets people over in the WWE right now. Well, why don't you come over here and be our gatekeeper?
The thing is, I get a lot of hate for
2, 3, 4 fights, something like that. You know what I mean?
I get a lot of hate for this. I got a lot of hate at UFC 200 when I bet Lesnar to beat Mark Hunt via TKO. Everyone said, no way, no. And then look what happens. Brock Lesnar is one of those guys that I will always, the kid in me will always be excited. But here's the argument. Not many guys will want to fight somebody like Brock Lesnar. And the one person I did want to see fight Lesnar was John Jones. And he hyped it up after his win over DC at the second fight, and it never came to happen. But now John Jones,
that's a fight that makes more sense for John. Like I still think Stipe, I know that's kind of the thing right now. That's the sexy talk Stipe right now. But like I still think that's a little far fetched. Like he shouldn't be going fresh after. One of the longest reigning heavyweight champions in UFC history. No, Stipe should be fighting for the belt again. I think that's just my opinion. He's one of those dudes that he's fought in literally some of the biggest monsters that the UFCs can ever toss at him. He's getting towards the end of his career.
He made his debut against Joey Beltran as well.
He deserves that hype over John, and you should bring him in an attraction. You should pay Brock a bunch of money to have an injury in WWE and take some time away to get some proper training, get some things situated, and get him back in the pool and stuff like that, and see him and John in 6 months to a year.
Yeah, unfortunately for Brock Lesnar, there's a lot of guys I think that would beat the shit out of him at this point, which makes me even more interested to see him at heavyweight.
Why would it just seem to get mauled at this point? What's up with that?
What?
You just want to see Brock get mauled? Is that what you said?
I mean, you want to talk about the Kane fight, man. Running at Kane was a real bad idea. Well, we got our guest calling in as well.
There we go.
Oh.
DJ in the house.
Let's see if he can come in here. It's going in circles. Man, for DJ to be joining us tonight, I'm really excited because I got a couple of questions for him. Fighting in that triangle ring, Steve, for BYB. I mean, come on. That's got to be a little crazy to do.
You were just talking about Brock running. They ain't nowhere to run there.
Here, let's see if his camera will come through here.
Yeah, we'll see.
But you wanted to give a little intro for our upcoming guest here. I'm going to try to get him in here. It's going in circles, unfortunately, for the audio listeners that are tuning in. I don't know what the issue is here. But a little quick intro for him, Steve, for DJ. I know he's got an upcoming championship fight.
Yeah.
He's also been kicked in the nuts
López
by Rumble Johnson, which I got to ask
the
about.
Grandfather of the heavyweight division. Oh, man.
You're gonna have to message him really quick, because I don't know what's going on with his camera. It's just going in circles.
Wait, he's trying again. There's another one.
Let's see. There he is.
There's the man.
Yeah, you guys are still cutting out. You sound like aliens.
Do we sound better
like aliens before?
You can't hear us.
I could barely. I can't hear anything coming out of you guys. It sounds like aliens.
That's not.
Let me check it really quick here. For Combat Deviants.
Gotta love technology.
I hope the whole show has been like that. No. Our side's working very well. So I wonder. Let's see.
He has another. He had the other link up. I don't know. But I just heard myself pop up like through his.
Here, did he? I don't know what happened to him.
I guess
Technical difficulties. I always gotta
love technology, my friend.
That's like one of the worst things to happen. Technical difficulties.
Yeah,
here.
Right.
But Steve, for this one here, there's a lot of excitement, right? Not just in the UFC. There's many events going down. Bellator has an upcoming card going down this weekend. Jake Paul. Which one are you most looking forward to here?
I mean, I always look forward to all the UFC events. Obviously, we're looking forward to that main event there. But I think despite the fact that it's not selling well, the intriguement around what the result of Jake Paul and Anderson Silva, I think it is kind of the deal there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
kind of the thing that everyone's looking at.
Even though the tickets are not selling. I think the biggest.
I don't think that means anything. Like that doesn't mean that it won't sell well, pay-per-view wise, etc.
Let me read something for you because people are really discussing this on social media, especially on Reddit today, where I saw this one right here. So let me read this. I legitimately don't see how Jake beat Silva. Silva was having competitive fights against guys in the top 15 before leaving the UFC. He lost, but against the best guys in the world. He has won over former boxing champion and knocked out Tito in the first minute of their fight. Jake had 2 competitive fights with Tyron Woodley, a wrestler who fought at 170, and only had good striking when he had the threat of the takedown. Tito sucks and is also a wrestler, but he fights at 205. Based on both guys' boxing careers, Silva has had the better performances against bigger opponents and better competition. He's also an actual striker. I don't want to hate on Jake Paul because he's a YouTuber, but how is Silva an underdog? Steve, can you answer that one? Because I think he put that very
well. I mean, the betting stuff. I mean, obviously, dude, Jake Paul's a young kid. He's obviously in the better position. I guess you would say for lack of a better term. Anderson Silva, was arguably the most dangerous striker in MMA for most feared, however you want to put that, for the better part of 10 years, man. He was You know, he was walking on water. No one could touch him. Nobody could touch him. He'd go up to 205 and he would absolutely obliterate guys. James Irving blasted in the first round. Forrest Griffith blasted in the first round. Stephan Bonner blasted in the first round. Those last two guys are freaking absolutely stone cold tough guys who would just sit there and brawl with you guys. And Anderson Silva would float around like they were nothing. This was Anderson Silva, at or at the end of his prime. So
I don't care what people say either at the end of his career.
He's 47 years old, man. And not just that, as much as I like to disrespect and tear Jake down, he's quick for
he was bigger than him at the weigh-in,
like a middleweight to light heavyweight type guy, and he's knocked dudes out. He does have a knockout punch. We can't take that away from him. Cannot. So if Anderson Silva is getting a little too cute, you never know. He might, Jake Paul might clip him. I hope not. I hope not. The internet would be absolutely insufferable at that point in time with the Jake Paul stains. I don't want that. I don't wish that. I've said it flatly. He will survive until 5, and then Anderson will put him down.
See, here's the thing about this. The commenter is 100% correct. Jake Paul has never fought a striker as talented as Anderson Silva. You have one of the best strikers in the world. I would say Anderson Silva is one of the best strikers in the world, easily. Now you have Jake Paul going in there against him. If Anderson Silva is giving his real fight, like if he's giving us a real fight, Jake Paul is going to get destroyed. But I like what you said a couple of weeks ago, where you think he's going to go in there and kind of play with them and show him the moves. In a way, kind of like Max Holloway.
I think you're going to see him. He's going to anything that Jake Paul does wrong, he's going to eat it up and show him. He's going to, he's going to. You're going to see. I think you're going to see classic Anderson come tomorrow.
I feel like we won't though, because it almost seems like bullying. I mean, if the real Anderson Silva shows up, it would be, without a doubt, Anderson Silva winning in the first or second round.
What do you think about Jake showing up on a horse?
He's always doing it. He had one time showed up with one of the sickest things I've ever seen. It was a real live working robot from what I saw. There could have been somebody in there. It must have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on it. I really wanted it. He always shows up with some funny stuff. I don't think he's that confident though, unless there's something going on backstage where,
you think Anderson was really knocked out, dude?
No. He's joking around.
Disagree. Let's break it down right now. Do you think Anderson was knocked out
while he was training?
Yeah.
No, there's no way. Michael Bisping even mentioned it as well once these rumors broke that Anderson Silva, he likes to play. He's the best in the world at playing around with people. Look at Michael Bisping in that fight, bro. Michael Bisping knows how well Anderson Silva can get into your head. So
that fight should have never went. It was over. It was over. I don't want to hear it. It was over.
Trust me. I was flipping out that day, Steve. According to the ref. So, Steve, I also got to bring up here.
Old memories back. What are you doing?
Yeah. I also got to bring up here a couple other things that we got to talk about. 2023. Who's going to be the biggest name out of there? Is Sugar Sean going to be the next champion in 2023? Who are the next champions of 2023? Who holds and who loses? Let's start with Islam Makhachev. Will he be champion at the end of 2023? Yes or no?
We're talking about lightweight, right? We'll see. I think he retains.
And
he retains throughout the year. He'll have one or two defenses. So yes.
At what division, right? Because he's going to have this upcoming fight with a guy in a lower weight class. Oh shit.
We'll see. He's trying to do what
he holds. You're saying he holds.
He's trying to do what Khabib never did.
I don't think he's going to hold it. I really don't. I think he's going to get in there 2 fights, but maybe I'm wrong. A lot of people have underestimated him. For heavyweight, who's going to be there? Who's not going to be there? Who's going to be the next heavyweight champ?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Francis Ngannou resigns. I don't think they get it done.
Is that your real prediction right there? Francis isn't coming back.
Yes, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think they pay him what he wants. He's been very, very adamant. They block sponsorships and things like that made things difficult for him. That I don't think they're going to give him what he wants. He's going to go elsewhere.
Khamzat, next champ in 2023 and holding it. Who may be fighting Belal, which I know you have some issues with Belal here.
He's not fighting at 170. So what? He's going to fight? Is he?
He said so. Bilal's saying he's going to fight.
I'm not. He's not fighting for a belt anytime soon, dude.
Bilal's going to be fighting.
He's got to make weight 3 times again before I even discuss that.
But Khamzat,
discuss that.
Moving up.
Yes, moving on. Get out of there with Flabby McFlabberson right there. Get out of here.
Come on, you guys are just killing it on that one. You know damn well if you went in there against Nate Diaz, Nate Diaz was gonna get absolutely pickled and put in a jar.
He might have. But guess what? When you have a big fight of that nature and you come that much overweight,
there's a huge conspiracy there.
This is the venom that you're gonna get from the MMA community. It's not just disrespectful to Diaz and his camp. It's disrespectful to the promoter, and you're sitting there trying to make a conversation to get big fights in a title fight, and you come almost 10 pounds overweight. Stop playing with me, dude.
Yeah, you can't be champion. That was the huge risk there. Moving on in the future, can we really rely on you with a championship fight if you're going to miss weight?
If I'm Dana, I make him sit it down for a minute or two, man. Like I told you, sit him down. Like you have to make 170 on the nose 3 fights in a row, and then we can have this conversation.
So Leon Edwards, he's going to hold the belt in 2023.
Can he beat Kamaru Usman in the second fight?
Colby in there, Khamzat, Belal. That's and then Gilbert Burns at 5. So Gilbert Burns, Belal Muhammad, Khamzat, Colby, Kamaru Usman, and then Leon in that division. Does Leon have what it takes to survive through that?
I think so.
I don't think so. I think he's going to lose against.
But I agree with you that there's too many sharks at the top of that 170-pound tank that he probably would maybe win the rematch, but the next person he's gonna lose to. That's just how crazy the MMA world works sometimes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's exactly how
he's just the guy that figured out the Kamaru Usman puzzle. He's just that guy that figured that out, right? And then he gets on to the next guy, and he gets stopped or something.
It's kind of like a Matt Serra situation, I guess you could say, but more well deserved.
But look what happened the second time around with GSP. GSP,
you said hold my drink. So moving on to middleweight here, Steve. Israel Adesanya as the champion. We got Robert Whitaker, Jared Cannonier, Marvin Vettori, but the one I really want to see is the rematch with Adesanya and Alex Pereira. Because in the past, for those who don't know,
less than a month away now, right?
Israel Adesanya has lost in the past in a kickboxing match against Alex Pereira. And this guy has been coming through like a fucking tornado. That's the perfect buildup for your star fighter, because when that happened in Israel Adesanya's career, his coach left him. He had to restart to get where he is now. And here's this guy again. That's a real villain. That's a real villain in this story.
I love that villain, but it's an interesting storyline note. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I hope that this should be one of those easy fights for Izzy to get up for and get excited for. So it should be exciting. It should be fun to watch. He should be ready to go to go for this one. So hopefully we see a emphatic and exciting Israel Adesanya. I'm looking forward to it, dude. But that being said, Izzy retains throughout the year.
So now if I present you this, Alexander Volkanovski, Figgy, Aljo, Islam, Leon, Israel, Yuri, Francis, and Amanda, Who are we putting at the top 3 for our pound for pound listing here?
Amanda's kind of redundant at this point in time, but that being said,
I've never done one.
Here's the thing: Amanda's not going to end 2023 as the champion. She has one more fight left in her. Correct?
That's true. You also got Carla and Valentina in there as well. I didn't mention, which is kind of surprising that Carla's the champ right now. You know,
I know, right, dude? It's so crazy. Rose had JoJo's number. You know, she had that amazing stoppage after beating JoJo to go get the belt, and then she has the fight with Carla. She's like another person.
Carla Esparza, shout out to her. I don't see her holding the belt.
She's been a champion in every organization. She's the belt collector, man. Carla Esparza.
Yeah. The
OG champion. You know, I think the promotion that she fought before Invicta, she was a champion, and she's UFC champion now.
Which one of these girls would be on the top 5 pound for pound? Would it be Amanda, Valentina, or Carla? It really comes down to Valentina and
I think Valentina, because like I said, I think Amanda doesn't stay because she's going to retire within the next fight or two.
What about Islam? Does he belong in the top 3?
I can't take it away, but he's not in the top 3.
Not top 3. I agree. Leon Edwards,
he's a top guy. He's not top 3.
Leon Edwards, top 3? No. No way.
No.
Is that what you're saying? No way.
You can't just stop freaking stop the champion and then you're a top 3 guy. No.
So let me show you what the UFC has for their pound for pound. Alexander Volkanovski, 1. Number 2,
well, he's been their rock for a while, but yeah, go ahead.
Israel Adesanya, number 2. Number 3, Islam Makhachev. Number 4, Kamaru Usman. Number 5, Leon Edwards. Number 6, Francis Ngannou. Mind blown?
And this is what I'm sitting there saying. Yeah.
Mind blown or what right now?
And you wonder why Francis wants to go elsewhere?
All right, it gets even better though, Steve. Charles Oliveira, 7, Aljo, 8, Yuri, 9, 10, Figgy, 11, Dustin, 12, John Jones, 13, Max Holloway, 14, Marino, and 15, Robert Whitaker. It gets dicey at the bottom.
Listen, how is John Jones ranked? He hasn't fought in 2 years.
Exactly. He's still up in there. And I'm sure they would have had Connor in there as well, too. Would not surprise me. I really wonder what the hell goes through these guys' minds.
I'll give you Volk in the top 3.
Yeah, dude. He's a badass, dude.
I'll give you Izzy in the top 3. I mean, at this point in time, how is Amanda not number 1, dude? How?
She really should be. Especially with that amazing comeback. Especially with that.
All right, like listen, yo, she was dethroned and she did the thing that Ronda couldn't do.
Come back and win.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Ronda's one of the goats of women's MMA because she's what brought it to where it is now. She's given all these other weight classes a chance to be there because the Ronda's the girl that everyone wanted to bet on.
That was easy money back then. Really easy money.
But now here's my thing, right? So now Amanda goes and literally she has stopped and obliterated everybody,
including Ronda.
And by the way, the girl in the weight classes but below her is Valentina, and Valentina has tried to take that bantamweight title from her multiple different times so she could be a 2 weight class champion. It could not get it done.
Very close in that first one, though, which is my argument.
But this is what I'm sitting there saying, man. Like, you can't sit there and dismiss Amanda Nunes, man. Like, is it? And you know, I was like the biggest Ronda stain back then. My girls loved her and things of that nature. So, like, listen, you can't. Like, listen, Amanda Nunes she has to be number one in my opinion. I don't care what you say. So I would put it Izzy, Volk, and Amanda would be the argument for the top three in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that list.
But like here's the thing, like you can argue the other places.
Would Oliveira be on it if he didn't lose?
But like you have too many guys that are up there that aren't champions, weren't champions, or were interim champions for a short period of time. I mean, pound for pound, I would think you would put Algio a little bit higher up there. I mean, granted, I guess people are still gonna have the question mark around him because he gets the victory over TJ via the dislocated shoulder, so it's rough. So like he still has, the question mark around him, I guess, so to speak. So
that's what a lot of people would say. And Oliveira obviously dropping 4 spots here.
Really, well, I mean, you lose the belt that's kind of that's to be expected. I mean, he's still a top 10 guy here. Granted, he's at the back end of the top end of the pound per pound rankings list, but I mean,
let me throw this up here, Steve. I got another one for us to answer. So MMA used to be better on Reddit. He says MMA media and fans aren't MMA fans. They are UFC fanboys or paid shills. 90% of them. Still calling the sport of UFC.
Who's paying MMA fans? Wait a minute. Right. Stop right there. Who's paying MMA fans?
So he goes on to say, like Brendan Shaw, but he's the ultimate UFC shill. Oddly enough, because his career took place there. I'm not Josh Thompson fan, though, but I could never do their job with the state of MMA now and UFC ignorant fans with big opinions on social media. I'd legit go nuts. Don't know how they last in today's climate. But John Anik just resigned and he's going to be returning. What's your response here?
First, no one pays MMA fans. Let's stop right there. There's no paid shills in the combat sports community. The only paid shills there would be is guys who do like fans who do paid graphics for like media like media companies and things of that nature. Those are paid shills, okay? Yeah. But Brendan Shaw being the voice of UFC, how much the all right,
we got our guest calling back in.
Yeah, he's gonna try again. Let's see what we got here. See what we got with DJ.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Can you hear us loud and clear, sir?
A lot better than it was. A whole lot better.
All right. You gotta love technology. That's what I was just trying to say when it was going on. These are things that we are used to. It happens from time to time. We don't try to get upset about it.
I was down at the gym and trying to do it from there.
It looked nice, man. It looked like a nice setup in the ring, man. I was like, oh man, it didn't work. Damn.
I know. I was like, yeah. I called my coach. I'm like, what's up with the Wi-Fi? He's like, I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah. You're like the guy I was trying to call on the phone sounded like he was in a robot voice.
Yeah. It was like some alien thing. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
You gotta love technology, but absolutely glad we got you on here, DJ. I know Eddie's excited. I'm excited. Obviously you just signed a nice little contract with BYB Exream. You're gonna be there for a little while. What was the leading thing that made you go with Mike Velasquez and BYB Exream? Obviously, a lot of people are flocking to BKFC. Bare knuckle boxing as a whole has grown a lot over the last 5 years. Just give us your thoughts on the growth of it and why BYB Exream.
I think BYB fits me just fine, man. It didn't put a good taste in my mouth, when I was over there at BKFC. I didn't have a good time over there. I did the one fight and they kind of threw me off after that one fight. Multiple times I contacted them, and BYB, gave me that shot. And plus, Tony López was sitting there at #1 spot, I wanted that redemption.
You can't argue that. Like, listen. If someone's gonna throw me a free lunch, I mean, I'm just saying, I'll take your belt. You know what I mean?
Is that what you're actually saying, though, DJ? Are you saying that this is maybe an easier fight for you?
I don't know about easy. I'm just
saying. No. Tony's definitely a harder fight than Josh
There's no
would
such
ever
thing
be.
as an easy fight,
Tony's
right?
more well-rounded.
Yes.
Right? There's no such thing as
What's
an
that?
easy fight. There's no such thing as an easy fight, right?
Never.
Yeah,
never. There's never an easy fight. Something I thought I would go into was the most sore I've ever been in my life when I thought it was an easy fight. I won the fight in 41 seconds, and I could barely move the next day. So nothing's easy.
So I got to ask you fought some of my favorite fighters over the years. One of them being Rumble Johnson, man. What was it like going in there against somebody and then seeing their career kind of blossom afterwards, knowing that you were a part of that to help him train to be the best that he could be?
Well, sorry, I caught part of it.
So you've had some amazing fights in your career. You fought some of my favorite people, Rumble Johnson being one of them back in the day, which I tuned in to watch. Really excited to see. And I got to throw this in there. You got kicked in a bad spot. How bad did that hurt, getting kicked in the groin by Rumble Johnson?
Ouch.
Oh, believe me, it hurt like son of a bitch. Okay. Like, you know, I could have took it easy and been like, oh, I can't continue and collected my show money. No, but I'm not that kind of fighter. I'm gonna keep going no matter what. And so I kept it going. And then when he pulled the whole fake eye poke bullshit, like he did with Koscheck and a couple other guys, you know, even Herb Dean, Herb Dean seen what went on, and there was no eye poke, and then he straight went from covering an eye to blasting me in the temple. So, you know, shit happens. You know, I learned from it. I wasn't letting that happen again.
That's had to be one of the craziest things happening in that fight, because it did seem really cheap. You kicked him in the nuts, and then you're going to pull that. Did you kind of feel like you got betrayed on that fight? Do you feel like it was unfair and that, that fight shouldn't have been ended the way it was?
No, it definitely shouldn't have ended the way it did. Like him up in his face saying, oh, my eye. The ref says, no, keep going. He's still up in his face, but I'm being told to come forward. So I come forward and bam. So
we got to
I threw my one too. I was throwing my shot, but you know, I wasn't expecting something like that. That's for damn sure.
Well, we got to put a bow on that story and find out what happened backstage. Did he apologize for it, or were there no condolences afterwards?
There was nothing after that. We talked some shit back and forth on the internet, back to each other on a couple different sites. You know, who knows? One day he'll be back at heavyweight, and it'll happen again before I'm out of this sport.
Well, yeah, there were rumors that he was going to do bare knuckle. I don't know what's going on now, but you're also coming off that that TKO in round 3 at BYB 11 over Josh Burns, man. And that really wasn't too long ago. So how are you feeling right now getting ready for this fight? Are you just hungry?
Yeah, definitely, man. I do it, all dads are doing, working their asses off. I took off for 7. I just got back after 7 weeks of doing 10-hour, 12-hour days up in the Pacific Northwest up by Seattle. Wow. And I've been working those hours and getting training in, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, getting training in. And I cut my weight down about 27 pounds of walk around weight since my last fight. So I'm going to be sitting fit for this next fight. Me and Tony, I know Tony's like, he doesn't go out there. He's not this big knockout artist, but he got me the last time, but he had kicks, and I was whooping his ass on the feet when we were throwing hands. And He's not gonna have feet this time, and I'm taking it to him just like I did Josh Burns.
What's the adjustment like fighting in a ring like that? You know, the tri ring.
I made it even smaller. I used a 16-foot ring.
Wow.
A 16-foot through a battle rope across the center of it, and made that my trigon.
Wow.
And so I turned a lot more. I was getting cut off a lot more, and I did it in the trigon and just kept moving, move, and that's the key right there in that trigon.
I think that's one of the unique things about being in BYB is the fact that you have the trigon. You know, you're cutting off the running opportunities. I guess we would say it that way. It means for more action, and you guys keep moving around. So I think it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to the fight with you and Tony. Obviously, like you said, he's already got the one in over you on MMA. Now it's you want to get one back on him for Barnaoui, and I guess not too bad for a title on the line too, right?
Guys, just hold up this. I'm not. The volume is really low right now. I don't know why it's low.
Here, let me try to adjust it. Let me ask you one thing. You said something about BKFC. You didn't have a good experience with BKFC.
Well, I mean, they only offer him one fight after that. You know what I mean? They only didn't offer him another fight after that. He said he reached out. You know.
Can you hear us, DJ?
You guys talking?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
I get, for some reason I can barely hear you.
Oh, man.
I got one more question for you if you can hear it.
Okay. Go ahead.
What is the prediction for this fight, and why should people tune in to watch?
We're going to see one of the biggest battles in the trigon they ever seen. You got Tony López has over 100 plus MMA fights. Me, I got 40 something, almost 50 pro MMA fights. We both got boxing, bare knuckle boxing. Both of us are durable. We bleed. We keep going harder after we're bleeding. So you're going to see a war that's never going to stop here.
We can't wait for it, man. Thank you so much. I know there's some audio issues right now, so we'll let you go because I know there's some audio issues.
So what we'll do, we'll wrap it up since you can't really hear us. But what we typically do at the end is kind of throw it over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, any sponsors you may have.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team Do Something, guys all around here. My guys at my work that kept me on point with helping me with diet, helping me with my diet and everything else, making sure I'm not cheating on it. Everybody around me that's helped me out, my family back home, looking after my kids while I'm gone working. My whole gym that's helped me a lot. So yeah, and thank you guys for support out there, getting me on here.
Oh, it's definitely a pleasure, DJ. Hopefully next time we can get hopefully next time we can get the audio stuff worked out and talk a little bit more. Best of skill in the upcoming fight, man, and we'll definitely get you back on here again in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely catch up with you after the fight. Hit me up and we'll get on here.
All
Definitely.
right, guys.
We'll
November 19th,
all right, man.
goes down. Thank you so much, DJ. Best of skill.
All right, everyone.
I don't know what happened
was
there.
DJ Linderman. Tried his best to get it done today. I definitely give him an A+ for effort. He was there in his ring initially, tried to get it back on. It was working for a good 10-15 minutes.
That's always the way. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the technology gods just gave Combat Deviants
a kick in the nuts.
Finger. They said that's enough out of you guys this week. We had enough.
Kick in the nuts. Guys, we want to know what your predictions are for Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, and tune in Saturday as we will be recapping all the highlights and best moments on Twitter at Combat Deviant. Subscribe to Combat Deviants on YouTube and bellyupsports.com. That does it for Evil Eddie and Steve Reichel. And we will see you next week. And with that being said, guys, behave yourselves.